Hi sailors, it's time for a new podcast here on explorenorth.no. I'm your host, Jon Amtrup. Just an update on my last sailing adventures. I've been sailing up and down the Norwegian coast one time, Fredrikstad Tromsø, with a sailing course, and really happy with that experience. That was in May and June, and come July I was at it again. I was skippering Isbjørn, the Swan 48, beautiful boat, in the 59 North fleet. I had 4 American guests, and we sailed Bergen, Bodø in 10 days and had amazing weather and some beautiful sailing around Stad, and did tack-in on the Helgeland coast, did a few nice mountain walks, and yeah, I really got to show him some of the best scenery that Norway can offer. But now let's talk about this podcast. When I came back, I went to 2 lectures here in Fredrikstad. It was a tall ship race and there was a lot of things going on, and I went to Camille Parrain. She had a lecture about living the ocean, and one about the connection between the sea and the mountains. Really interesting. And she has been sailing for 4 years to live the ocean, to understand the different cultures, share her passion to the different generations, as well as supporting ocean traditions. She sailed across the Atlantic, lived on a boat in the Caribbean, and now she has come a few times to Fredrikstad, and it looks like she's going to come in more to draw the connection between the ocean and the ocean people, which are us. So this is kind of a philosophical take on it all, and it's really interesting to learn more and hear more about how she perceives the ocean and how we can hopefully change the way we're treating the ocean. So listen to this, be inspired, and go sailing. Okay, it's time for a new podcast. I'm sitting here on the veranda of Rebell-kollektivet in Fredrikstad with Camille. Hi.
Hello, thank you. Hi, nice seeing you again. Nice meeting you.
You too. I've been kind of stalking you. Been to 2 of your lectures the last 2 days.
Yes, thank you for that. It felt like I had a fan coming back. We met on Najaden the first time for living the ocean, and then in Caribbiean in Camino book to compare ocean and mountains.
Because I was really fascinated by the slow living. I'm not sure if it's probably not your concept, but it's a concept. And you have lived it for the last 4 years, 4.5.
Yes, since July 2018 actually, and I'm slowly trying to go back to another pace, but it is pretty hard. And slow, it is my concept now, I think, to live slow and to learn to just be, observe, take the time. And I think we have a tendency on forgetting that, to just take the time and be fully present, to also be aware of what's around us.
But you chose to do the slow living concept on a sailboat, didn't you?
Yes, so first my aim was I did not go sailing to have a slow life. I went sailing because I'm a geographer and I work on the ocean and how people are connecting to the ocean, what it means for them. So that was the main aim of going sailing. And then little by little, and for geography it's quite interesting because we work a lot on the concept of space and time. And so I started to read more philosophy about those two concepts, and being at sea is really a good way of learning that, because you have to be patient, you have to do with what comes to you and to go with the flow, adapt. And we realized that when if you go at sea, that's the first days you're a bit not anxious, but you look back and you're missing the land and you're like, oh, am I doing the right thing? And then you have the first nights at sea and the motion of the ocean that makes you slow down and just be in your thoughts and contemplation. And then you have the island life where you also learn to be really slow.
Because you embarked on a transatlantic with strangers, didn't you? How was that?
So the first crossing I did, I was in 2007, a long time ago, with a crew I didn't know. And actually that was really interesting. I would not say it's easier. I mean, sometimes it would not work if you don't know the people, but it was really nice because it was a way to learn each other, but also challenging because you can't go out, get out of the boat. But that went really well the first time. The second time, I think the motivation of the people were not to be at sea. It was more like a transportation. So they did not get actually into this slow observation, poetic way of being. Yeah.
How did that affect your feeling of the voyage, that they didn't get into the slow voyage and slow life, but you tried to?
Actually, it's a while ago, so I think I forgot. No, I did not forget it, but I think I remember just the nice things. But I do remember that. I don't know. Sometimes there were lots inside watching movies, so I was just outside looking. So they did not bother. Then we start to just have our own. We make our own bubble on the boat, and so now that's and the music. That was the music that was disturbing the most. But no, otherwise I think it was a fun crossing as well, so it's a lot of things to see, so that was okay. If you manage to create your bubble, then you can be with anyone, I guess.
And speaking about the bubble, inside here there's a painting called The Bubble.
Yes, so I called it The Bubble, and Guro Hofmo Bergley called it A Drop in the Ocean. But for me it was a big bubble, so I called it The Bubble. And that's a painting she made after we decided to talk more together about the ocean. So I gave her some words that were a lot in my PhD as a geographer. So boundaries or discontinuity, fluidity, immensity, and we discussed a lot, and it went actually really deep, because when you talk about the ocean, it's not just what it looks like, but it's a bit of the mirror of yourself as well. So or philosophy of life. So we started to talk about ocean and life and what the ocean could explain in life. And so it was really nice. And then she made that painting with the bubble that for me really reflects the air, the light aspects, and also the movement and the connection with water. So air and water. And in the bubble you see, I see a small island, and for me also the island is also protected. It's also a bubble in the global world, so it's and it feels safe. So that's So that was a nice painting.
Yeah, it's a really nice painting. I'll put a picture of it in the show notes for this podcast. You've been living on your boat with your kids for the last 4.5 years?
Yes, indeed. We left when Anna was 4.5. She was going to turn 5, and Paola was 8 months. So that also changed when you travel with children on a boat. It's also changed the way you look at the ocean. Because if you're alone, you deal with your own time, and if you want to rest, you rest. If you want to observe, you observe. But traveling with the children was really like I had the feeling I was more living inside the boat and making sure that the baby doesn't fall. And Paula was starting to walk just before the crossing, so that was a bit challenging. But yeah, so your vision also changes on. You also try to anticipate much more in advance, and your perception of risk is not the same. So you're always I'm really cautious. But what was really good was for them as well, because they were learning so much. I mean, they're still learning so much. They learn to be outside. They learn to just see small details really far out and observe what's around. They can recognize boats from miles, from a big distance. See birds, fish, because I learned them to snorkel, so they go snorkeling. And they also learn about the mangrove. I was doing a project with schools in Grenada and a marina of Paul in St. George, and they were just joining and planting mangroves. So that's, for me, I think that's a big opening on the environment, also on the way of being, to be patient and to be able then to follow me. If I have meetings, they just follow and they just write and read and wait for 2 hours. And they also learn, some people were saying about they should go to school and they should be to socialize. I'm like, well, they are social. They meet a lot of different children from all over. They now speak English. I did not teach them. They learn by themselves, by being with other children. And they also, and then people tell me they have to face reality. I say, well, what is reality? What's reality? The Western world is not necessarily their reality. It's one reality. And they also face, we were doing things with an orphan house, a home for children, so they're also aware that it's not always paradise, that they have children who have problems in their families, who have been abandoned. They also played with handicapped children, and so they're also aware of harsh life. It's not just and living on the boat is not just a dream. It's not a dream all the time. So they learn, they learn, and the weather as well. They learn a lot about the clouds, the weather. They sail. They have their own boats.
Would you say they learn more about nature and the ocean than if you would put them through a normal upbringing?
Yes. Yes. I think, I'm a teacher myself, and I know it's really important to teach language, mathematics, and science, but I do think that, I don't know about Norway, but I know in France, I'm not sure that the children, they do enough field work, or they're enough in contact with the nature. And we disconnect more and more. And that was my aim also, is like to try to reconnect and connect my own children, but also connect other children by experiencing the ocean and nature. And Anna, she's really, because we meet other children that are traveling, and a lot of them are behind screens, And Anna, she can get really mad because she just wants to play and to go on adventure and get some wood or shells or stones and it's pretty hard. I remember once a girl was just sitting with her iPad and I was asking her if she wanted to play. She says, "Not now, I'm busy." I'm busy playing on the. I'm like, okay, so there was a bit of a gap, and we lose the sense of things. And nature is not just also facts; it's also feelings, or it's a value. So cultural value. It's you have senses, but we lose those senses. I find.
Do you think that your kids have gotten the same connection to the ocean as you obviously have?
Oh,
Like comparable?
Well, it's comparable. I think it's different. I think we did not have the same childhood, so. But somehow, I grew up in Central America, in Panama. So I remember my parents saying that I learned to swim before walking, and that was a bit not for Anna but for Paola it was this, and then we were in Paris, so my parents were really far from the ocean, but then we lived in Portugal as well, and that's when I really discovered the ocean by doing sports like bodyboard. Then I did windsurfing, wave surfing. So we did not have the same childhood, but I don't know, it's different. Maybe actually they sense more, or maybe they fear it less than I do, but that's also the age.
That's part of being a mother, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately.
Or a parent.
It's. But they know a lot, and sometimes. But they know more about sailing than I do, because I'm more of a. How can I say? I just like being at sea. I'm not necessarily a super good sailor. I just like being there. But Anna, she sees everything on the boat, and she knows all the knots and all the. But then we also learn together, because I bring them and I show them fish. I show them different types of corals, and and when they were really young, I use a lot the touch and the colors, the smells, So I think we also grow together actually in this. Yeah.
What's your connection to the ocean?
Wow. In what sense?
I read somewhere in an interview with you that you quoted Plato, saying there's three kinds of people: the living, the dead, and those who goes to sea. You can start there.
That's a bit this. It feels your. It feels like when I came back on land, I thought I was from Mars. So I had the feeling sometimes people were looking at me like I was from Mars. It's a bit that I also say it brings alterity, so something different, an alter space, and for me it's really, it makes you feel that you're part of a bigger thing of the universe, and you're not from land, you're not from the sea, you're from just a bit of everything, and you connect a lot with all the elements. It feels really, I don't know, it feels it's part of you, but it's also can be also really scary. The connection with the sky, the stars, the moon, the shape. I love the texture and the shape of the water, and the movement. But it also has something. a bit scary, and that's also part of my history because I learned a few friends at sea. So then you look at it in a different way. And also myself nearly drowned when I was a kid. So, and actually I felt at the feeling I was part of sand. I was, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. So it has a mysterious thing as well, and I respect it for that. And
but is it the mystery that draws you back, since you have? Yeah, you've been scared a few times by the ocean quite well. I can tell. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't understand. I did not hear the beginning. Sorry.
No, is it the mystery of the sea that draws you back to the sea, or and not back to the sea? You're always
the mystery, and I think it's the well-being.
Yeah.
We talked about slow living before. Yeah. It's just. I mean, you also have moments where it's climax, and but maybe it comes also more from the people on board, and but it's just well-being, and yeah, just fully be, and look and enjoy the silence. Well, it's not always silent, but the sounds of the water, and I love clouds, and so yeah. When I was doing my PhD, a friend of mine was always making fun of me because she said I'm always in my own clouds, and she says I was always describing all the clouds in the shapes and also for the weather, and it's the well-being mystery, but now I want to go more and more on land actually sometimes, because it makes you tired too, to be at sea, and if you don't travel, it does not make sense for me to be on a boat, and I think it's being with children that now makes me want to be steady.
So according to Platon, you want to be more among the living than among the seafarers from now on?
Yeah, more in the mountains. So not completely back in the... it's really hard. It's really ambiguous because it's a kind of addiction too. So you're scared, but you want to go, and then you go, but you want to go back. But 2 weeks ago, I thought I was going to pack my bags again and go. So it's really up and down. It's because I'm trying to come back, but I'm also not sure if I can go back into this rhythm and a planned time, and people also not actually, they are there are a lot of people, but they not interact all the time, or I don't know.
But yeah, because when you're talking about going back, because you have your boat, which is also your home, is that correct, in Grenada? No, Grenada.
Yeah, Grenada.
Yeah,
the boat is in Grenada. It's been the home, but I also have a place in La Rochelle where I used to work, and actually that's where I came back 2 weeks ago, and I was like, so first I was sitting on the sofa, I was like, I haven't seen my house for 5 years, nice. And then it was suddenly too much. It was suddenly too, I don't know if it's coming back to seeing the past and feeling that you changed in the meantime and not really fitting in anymore, or needing time. You need time to refill in. And it was more being interrupted all the time by, also because people are happy to see you and I'm happy to see them, but there was not a moment to sit and relax, and afraid of going into this loop, this wheel of the hamster.
But it's hard to escape if you're moving back to La Rochelle.
I think if you want, you can always go. It's, I mean, it's a want and can, of course, but I'm pretty believe if a lot of people want to and they can, but they never do it. And some people have not much and they just do it. So, yeah.
Because you quoted a guy, a friend of you in Grenada, on one of the talks I went to, that says, "Why do you want to go back to Europe?"
Yes, so that's the island. That's it's Carriacou. It belongs to Grenada, to the state of Grenada, and actually that was my biggest lesson of life, and my favorite my favorite place. It's really where time has stopped, but when I say time has stopped, it has stopped. And I wrote a lot about actually Carriacou and Windward, and he says, yeah, that's one of the boat builders, and he says, why do you want to go back again? Why don't you stay here? It's like, well, I want to see their family, friends, and said, but there's not much more there. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but you don't need all these things. And he says, I'm just happy waking up and see the sunrise every day and be happy that I'm alive and that I'm living, and that's there. It feels that way a lot. So many, and people are just, it's really slow. Some people struggle actually going there, but it's. They just sit, observe, they sit next to each other, they don't fill in the silence, they just sit, and then when they want to talk, they talk. And they walk, they do with what they have. They're generous and they're happy. And sometimes it feels like a theater because it's empty. And you have also these winds, that the train winds, because it's on the windward side. So it's really tiring to have always the wind. So it makes people, I think, even more slow. And it's empty, and suddenly you have someone coming in the streets, and then that person disappears again. And did I really see? Was there really someone in there? And a lot of people, I don't know. It's and they live with what they have and happy to have fruits and to watch the ocean, and I think they also see the ocean as themselves and the ocean as part of one thing somehow, even though a lot of them don't know how to swim.
No. Yeah, because well, why is that? Because as you said, you learned to swim before you walked, and so was one of your kids. And people, I know this from Norway, fishermen in the northern part of Norway, they, in the old times, they didn't know how to swim, and they didn't see it as something they want to do. But does that mean they have another connection to the sea, or is it just, I don't know. You're the scientist.
Yes, I'd like to understand more that aspect. I think it's linked also with history and culture, because if you look at Polynesia, there were really voyagers on the canoes, and they say one of the, he was called Bonne Maison, he said that the ocean was the territory and the island just a stopover. And they also have a lot of legends explaining the ocean, and I don't know, maybe it's the conditions, though in the Caribbean the conditions are not harsh. I could imagine in Iceland or North Norway that, I don't know if I would like to learn to swim there.
That might be the point, that it's too cold in the water.
Cold or rough, because I talked to a friend, she's from Iceland, and she says that the ocean is rough, and so it's more seen as a danger maybe for some parts in the world than something peaceful or of well-being. And I also think people in the Caribbean, they were a lot working, and it's the same in Cape Verde. where I did my master degree. So Cape Verde is offshore the Senegal, and they were more working on land. So they were not sea people. And also in the Caribbean, they got brought to work on land, as sad as it can be. So maybe there's history, culture. I don't know. Maybe they don't currents, and maybe now there's a big movement in a big action in Grenada where they teach actually local kids to swim. And and it's growing. It's really growing. And I participated once in that in Petite Martinique, which is a really small island and belongs also to Grenada, though it's called Martinique. And and it just makes a big change to little by little. Because when I know that they were teaching them to swim, and I was going with them to make them feel or make them aware or talk about their senses, about the touch, about the sounds, and really the movement, make them float and make them feel at ease, a comfort zone, and then making them look. And I think that's important. But I know it's a big issue that many people on the island they can't swim.
As I started with in the beginning, we're sitting here in Fredrikstad, and from now we're talking about Panama, France, and Grenada, and Fredrikstad. It's not even on that triangle. How did you end up here?
Well, that's a long story, but that's actually a funny story because I was in Grenada, and I was doing a talk for boat building because I really wanted to help the people from Carriacou, and so I had a project to build small boats for children so the children could learn and the tradition, so the traditions does not get lost. And in the meantime, I would have done ocean. I don't like not like giving them lessons, but making them aware of what's around them. And while doing this talk, so it was for an event in Port-Louis in St. George, and one man from Fredrikstad was listening to that talk, and he says, "But in Fredrikstad we have a lot of boat building going on, and there's Hope Cathedral, and he says, I'm sure you could do things here, or maybe find a link of partnerships." Or so he says, next time you go to Europe, just come have a look. So I visited my family, and then I came here, and the Hope Cathedral asked if I wanted to be ambassador, and then I met people from Easy Gran as well. And I don't like towns, but this town is really great. and I found that's a really nice, amazing place with plenty to do. And it's just funny because it's like someone sailing from one side of the ocean to the other, like on that island, and then I also did the same, and it's as if the ocean connects people somehow. And so. No, it's funny, and I think there's plenty that could be done here for boat building, ocean, and education, and and also to not just education, actually, also open science and ocean and boat building to the public, like from children to adults. And it's a fascinating town, and now with tall ships, it's it's really nice.
Talking about the ocean as well, the state of the ocean. Now you've seen it from both sides of the Atlantic. Any thoughts?
Well, it's completely different. By the state, you mean in terms of how it looks like, or the environmental state?
Yeah, how we treat it, how we treat the ocean.
I think I think a bit everywhere the main problem is that we have a terrestrial perspective. So we look at the ocean from the land, and I don't think we can protect and manage the ocean if we don't know what's really the ocean, and if we, because I said it was also another space, it functions differently, also the activities are completely different. So I think it should be more an ocean-centered view, like people also experiencing the ocean, that can bring, that can, show the issues and find solutions. So in everywhere it's a bit that I, we want to exactly do a replica of what we do on land at sea, and for me it's not possible. And so I think the vision should change. And in terms of environmental states, I think maybe there are more pressure in, I guess, in Europe. With all the industries and activities. But we also do maybe more measures to try to protect, and sometimes on some islands you don't have maybe that awareness, or maybe you do, but you actually can't really, how can I say, the people from the island, they have to fish, and so they go on coral reefs as well, and you can't come as a Western person say you should not do that and do that. It should come from their own awareness of things. But there's a lot of plastic. There's a lot of, but it doesn't mean it comes from the island. It comes from really far away, and it's just brought there. It's different types of impacts.
The thing you said about here in Europe, we're better at measuring things, and I think that's pretty accurate. We're very good at measuring and very bad at actually doing something. We know the state of the sea, and we arrange seminars and think that will change the, for instance, the fjord. We're right beside Glomma, and this pours into Oslofjord, which is pretty much on the verge of collapsing. Everyone knows it, and the only thing we're doing is pretty much, we'll have another seminar.
I tend to, I agree with you. And it feels a bit, sometimes you do a meeting to arrange, to prepare the next meeting that will prepare the next meeting and the next meeting.
But if you can take a positive spin on it then. But any thoughts on how we can make people actually connect to the sea, so it will make a change, because we're not there.
No, we're not there, and I think it's really, like I say, it's to experience the sea. So experience the coast and go out at sea, so make possible for people to go at sea. And often the seminars also for the public, it's always about the impact, the negative things, and there should also be a positive message, I find, and to say because a lot of children, I was in a research program in Martinique, and it was about the social ecological connectivity in Martinique. From the mountains to the ocean, and we were doing things with schools, and teachers, they asked the children to draw the island how it is and how it will be, and there were a lot of catastrophic images and also future, and I'm like, but like, because then they think they can't do anything anymore. They think it's too late, and that's not too late, and it's a matter of also changing scales, not thinking of your own political time frame or your own living time frame, but just think further and how it all means. Like it's the whole. We can't destroy everything, and I don't think we will. I hope. I'm always positive, but I think it's really make them sense. And I think if we also come from the basics, not have a top-down approach, but more a bottom-up approach, I think that's how it could change. More participatory actions and understand also the ocean from the people who are on the ocean.
Do you think it's because our kids, we're talking about your kids and other kids and how they view nature, or how they experience nature, and do you think the educational system might have something to do with it? Because pretty much, as I find it, it doesn't. The educational system doesn't, tells you about, not tells you, but gives you a connection to nature. It gives you a connection to an iPad.
So that's. I think this should stop. Actually, the iPad things, like they should. I think that's really bad, and for everything, because they're good things, but there's also addiction, and also if we talk about education, not on the ocean, also now I see at university some students who can't even write French, so I have to correct the sentence because it doesn't mean anything anymore, and because we try to write fast, and I do the same if I text a message and I don't think, I just send it fast. But I think the education, and so the schools, but also parents. So it's not just because we put a lot on the
we
teachers.
can't blame the teachers for God's sake. No.
But I say that it's also the parents that they should be there. They should be there with their children and guide them. It's not have a child to have a child. There's and it's but there should be in I think there's a lot of things to do in education, but also bring positive, please. Message, a beautiful that makes you want to do something. Yeah.
Because that's the ocean, right? That's the main, at least my main experience of the ocean. That it's a beautiful thing, and I want to be more out there.
Yes.
Away from the litter on the beach, but out there.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's actually, for me, it makes you see what life is, what it is to live.
Yep.
And peaceful, but also rough, like we said, but it's also life somehow. And it's just beautiful. It's powerful. You're just so small, so small in a big, wide, open, moving thing. Yeah. And actually, and it carries you as well, so it makes you feel somehow safe, though in brackets. But no, it's
So, how do you see moving forward? You have a boat in Grenada. Are you going to be a landlubber, or are you going to be a sailor, living, or a seafarer? It can be both.
I think I'll be a bit of everything. And I'm also more and more attracted by the mountains too. Though I'm really scared of the mountains. It feels so hard. But the ocean is also hard. But no, I think I just like being in nature wherever that is. But I'm not too sure I can. I need a bit of a break by being on the boat, actually.
So you're going into the Norwegian mountains now?
Yes. And for me, it's been. When we talk about Norway, it's always this connection between ocean and mountains that I find fascinating. And the first time I went to the coast, I was like, and that was not even the real mountains. But I felt this solidity, like those round rocks, and far away I could see some mountains, and and it's for me it's really ocean and mountains together. And it's, if I think about Norway, I think of mountains and cold and another. I mean, now we're in summer, but I kind of like the extremes. So because to face with the elements. Yeah.
Norway is the perfect land to combine sailing and mountains. That's pretty much why I sail up in northern Norway, to sail into a port and walk up a mountain.
So maybe we should go together. That's one of, I would love to, to do that. And I hope, I really, I don't know, Norway is really attractive, and it's calling somehow. So I don't know how I can stay there, but I found a way that I could stay here maybe. Yeah, that's really beautiful place.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. And probably we can do this again some other time. And we will see if you can arrange something for you with sailing and mountains in the future.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. And I hope we can meet again and do more things together. Yeah, that would be nice. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Hi guys. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you found it interesting. If you want to know more about high latitude sailing, I can highly recommend, without blushing, the book I wrote together with Bob Shepton, High Latitude Sailing, Self-Sufficient Sailing Techniques for Cold Waters and Winter Seasons. You'll find it on Amazon, on explorenorth.no. You can follow the link to buy a hard copy. And there's also a lot of other books there that you might find interesting. Other than that, keep on sailing, guys.